Welcome to a new series of videos where I'll be teaching you how to code in Python. My goal is to teach you as much of the technical stuff as I can while also trying to make it easy to understand. Python is an open source programming language. Python was named after the comedy troupe Monty Python, which is why many tutorials and books have lots of references to both snakes as well as a comedy group and its members. Python can be run on Windows, Linux, and Mac operating systems. But because this series is meant for beginners, most of you will probably be using Windows, and that's what we'll focus on. Let's begin by downloading and installing Python and idle. An important note for beginners is that many people still use version 2, because so many modules were written in Python 2 syntax, so they coexisted for years. But the Python Software Foundation finally put an end date on 2.x support for next year, 2020. We'll be using Python 3 through these tutorials. Open your web browser and go to python.org. At the time of making this video, the latest stable release is version 3.8.0. If you still got a 32-bit Windows OS, you can click the button to download the 32-bit version. Many PCs today are now 64-bit. I wish they would default to that here, but let's go get the 64-bit installer. To find that, click on Windows under the Downloads menu. Look for the 3.8.0 section and download the Windows x86 64 executable installer. The first thing that we see is that the installer defaults to trying to install in your user's directory. They made this change a few versions back, and I find it really annoying if things get installed in this directory because it makes it harder to locate files later if you need to. So we're going to change it to install in your program files directory where Windows installs pretty much everything else. First, make sure you check the box at the bottom to add Python 3.8 to path. Path is an operating system variable that tells your computer where to look for programs when you want to run them from the command line without referring to their entire file path every time. So checking this now will make things easier in the future. Next, click on Customized Installation. Just a couple of things to point out here. First, we want to install the documentation. Even if we never use it, it doesn't hurt to have it. Pip is a must-have. This will come up at a later point. We'll need it then. We also want to install tcl/tk and idle. These will come in handy later, so we'll install them now. In fact, I'll be introducing you to idle in the next video. So click on Next. On this dialog, here's the important bit. See how the install location is under our user's account? Let's check the box at the top for Install for all users. Notice that immediately changes the install directory to program files. That's what we want. Now click Install. The install only takes a minute or so. When it says Setup was successful, click Close, and that's it. Now that we have Python installed, that pretty much wraps up the first video. Next up, I'll introduce you to IDEs, and you'll write your first bit of Python code.